All right. Welcome back, everybody. I am here today with Sam. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure will. Sam East. I'm originally from Elizabethton. I grew up around Johnson City area. Played high school football in Elizabethton. During college, kind of looking for something to do, working in a sporting goods store. And a buddy of mine, Andy Lightning, came in and wanted to try on some soccer shoes and cleats. So I was like, man, you're too big and goofy to play soccer. What's going on? He goes, no, Johnson City's got a rugby team and I'm going to practice tonight. So that's kind of how I got started. I was like, well, I'm gonna get me some soccer cleats too, and kind of jumped in, and that was 1984, I
Oh,
guess.
dang. So pretty
Yes,
early on in John City
it
history.
was. Yeah, we were wearing the yellow and black bumblebee jerseys
Yeah,
back
I've
then.
seen those pictures.
Yeah, started out then, and then we kind of eased on into being sponsored by Coors Light and Bill Breeding and Class Distributing, became the Silver Bullets, and
Yeah.
all from there. Played probably 12 years. After college, I went to Knoxville and played for the Possums for 2 years. Enjoyed that. Then came back and I guess finished up with the Silver Bullets for a year or two. Then played Old Boys on and off until about '99, I guess. But
Oh, that's a long time.
it was.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So how long did you specifically play with Johnson City? Just like,
From let's see, '84 year round. With spring and fall season, then sevens in the summer until '88, and then I played 2 years with the Possums, and then came back to Johnson City and played a couple of years. And
nice.
so,
Awesome. Um, and how was the team whenever you were here? Like, I know it was new. It was around for 3 years whenever you arrived. So
right, yeah, it was pretty well established. A few college students, mostly businessmen, business owners, just a good mix there. Some tough guys. There were some beasts back
oh
then,
yeah.
as there are now, I'm sure. But they had Boo Boo Keysecker, of course. Pete Charlton was a coach. Uh, Jim Buckley, John Verbal, John Yanero played. Roy Mullins. List goes on and on. But with some pretty well established, tough guys. We had to travel 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to get matches. That's back before cell phones, so we had a designated meeting point, the McDonald's usually over Market Street, kind of where Applebee's is now, is where it
Mhm.
was. So we'd meet there at a certain time, and if we didn't have enough, we'd start driving to people's houses and apartments, and not getting them out of bed or going to the girlfriends' houses and jerking them out of bed or whatever until we had enough. But several matches, we would travel with 12, 13, 14, and we weren't too proud to play with lesser numbers. We could usually hold our own, but they'd usually want to give us a couple of their B side or C side guys to fill up our side. But no, we played several matches short, and
Yeah. Yeah. I've done that.
didn't mind it at all.
Yeah. I've done that before too. It's tough to have to get people, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing rugby, and
That's right.
that's my favorite part. So,
Oh yeah.
um, how was the team socially? Like, did you guys go out to the bars after practice and stuff? And what kind of crazy shenanigans did you get into?
That's kind of a silly question, Adam. We did. No, we were. I mean, we sometimes we go to the park, go to the bar or the pubs before practice, or go to lunch and just carry it on through. But no, Pete, he ran a pretty tight ship. We ran a lot, and he knew if we'd been out a little bit before the match or before practices, he'd run us a little hard before practice, and we ended up paying for it. But we were really close knit. Uh, some of my best friends I've got in my life came from this rugby team. Uh, Andy Lightning, John Bradley, Randy Ball, Gordon Garber, Roy Mullins, Bill Sampson. The list goes on and on and on. Uh, I'm sure I've left some people out, but those guys, Billy and I were friends, played football together in high school, and he came out and played rugby with us, and he's now a golf pro down in uh, Spring Island, off from Hilton Head. But these guys, Pete, Pete's like my second dad. Uh, he raised a lot of us. He good or bad. He
Yeah.
taught us some great things. He taught us he taught us a lot of great things. We all worked hard for him and dearly love him to this day. Todd Adams, Todd's a minister. He was Wilder and a Buck back in the day. We called him the Flying Pig. He would you'd see him one season, he'd weigh 185 pounds. He'd come back the next one, weigh 285.
Mm.
He never lost his speed, from that weight difference
Yeah.
there. But no, we had a bunch of great guys, a bunch of great friends, and they're really my brothers.
Yeah. You still call them every so often now, and
Oh yeah. Before this goofy ass pandemic, we would at least meet together once a week. And there's
that's
still a
awesome.
few of us that do,
Mm.
for a couple of pints, and we'd all just go right back to the early 1980s telling stories and having a ball. But yeah, we all still, most of us keep in touch. I just bought a truck for Roy Mullins. He owns part of a dealership over in Forest City, and we try to do business with our guys. But he always takes care of us.
Well, yeah, of course. You always got to try and support your friends and stuff as much as you can,
Absolutely.
And yeah. Well, that's really awesome. That's crazy. I didn't know that some of y'all were still getting together up until
Yeah.
like even recently still.
Like Monday.
Huh?
Like this past Monday.
Oh, you guys got together this Monday.
A couple of us. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Well, let's freaking try and I want to get something together for everybody, like for 40 years,
Yeah.
And that's going to be the goal for the end of the spring season this year, hopefully, if everything calms down. So
Right.
things to look forward to.
That's right.
Yeah, get everything ready for that.
Actually, I met Jason Walls.
Yeah.
And he actually I had some, you can tell my nose has been broken dozens of times, but he works with the ENT, and he got me in there and got me scheduled and kind of turned some things around for my breathing. But that rugby connection still.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll meet him next week. So
Gotcha. Interesting guy. I think he played in England for a bit.
Yeah. That's how he met Lawrence. That's how Lawrence got over here, was through him.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy to know that everyone is still connecting, even though Jason Walls played when 2012-ish,
Probably
a lot more recent
after me. Yes.
Yeah, which is really nice to hear.
Yeah.
What was the best part about playing with Johnson City?
It was just I didn't get enough athletics in high school. After high school was over, I wasn't, it's kind of funny. I wasn't the biggest guy in high school. Played receiver and tight end. I was like 5'10", 160. In a year to the day, I was 6'1", 205. After graduating. So, I was a decent athlete, but I had some size, and just kind of looking for something different, and it was really new here. We all started fresh.
Yeah.
I think I practiced maybe 3 weeks. Mark Trent, was a huge influence with us. He played, I think, when he was in high school for the Pumas, and Pete, was his relative, and Mark was an incredible athlete. he played number 8 for us. I think his son Aaron actually played later on at a high level. Aaron Trent, but Mark, he just kind of, and Pete and all of them, they just tried to push us through for a couple of weeks, and then we went to Tennessee Tech to play down there, and they were got a lot of history at Tennessee Tech,
Mhm.
Real established team, and we went down there and beat them
Heck
and
yeah.
won the party. But of course, that first match, we're all still trying to tackle with our faces, like
Yeah.
football with our face mask, and I actually broke my nose and thought I was coming off the pitch, blood going everywhere. Andy Light and a couple of them are laughing at me. And Pete walks over and he didn't set my nose. He just kind of wiggled it a little bit and said, "Come on, Sammy, play on." And it's like, what the hell have I got myself into? And
Yeah, right.
kept on playing, and we never looked back. We had a
Hey,
blast.
yeah, that's awesome.
We were very competitive where we were playing collegiate teams or established club sides. I mean, we could hold her on anywhere we went.
Yeah. Did you guys do like Matrix season and stuff or?
We were before all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of figure, but I kind of wanted to ask just to see.
Still don't know what that really is, but no, they didn't call it Matrix.
It's just like a regular season, basically.
Gotcha.
Like you're playing for championships.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were part of the Mid-South
Mhm.
Union, and we play in the Mid-South tournament, and usually did pretty well there. It was either in Nashville or we played Huntsville, Alabama some, but they kind of moved it around. We never got the opportunity to host it up here, but we always held her on there. Several of us made the select side team and got to travel a little bit and play at that level.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
And we really love sevens. Of course, we went to Cape Fear early on
Mhm.
and got a chance to play several of the Eagles with Life Chiropractic. Gary Lambert was one name that stands out. He was a freak. He was tough.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite memories?
Favorite memories.
Yeah.
They were all great memories, but one that kind of stands out. Uh, we played. It was in April, and this was mid '80s, 85, 86, I believe. And we're scheduled to have Tennessee Tech come up here and play us. And I'm pretty sure it was maybe our first match of that spring season. And they were calling for snow. And what kind of snow do you get in April? Well, we got 18 inches of snow. Their team was already coming up on Friday night. Half of them were on their way Saturday, and they were stopping at payphones and calling Pete. And what do we do? And it's like, come on, lads, let's play. So here we are, 18 inches of snow in April, and it's like we had more spectators because people driving by. We had a ton of college students, groupies, students, followers, cult, whatever you want to call it, just telling all their friends, and nobody else had anything to do. So everybody started popping up out there and having a beer and watching us play. And local news got a hold of it. They came out and filmed some of it. They call it the Snow Bowl, but it was a blast playing in that much snow. And most of us were, kind of dumb enough to, wear shorts, and it was fun. We had to put out those orange cones to kind of show where the try line was
Oh
and
yeah.
the lines and all that. But that was a great memory. We won, of course.
Heck yeah.
So, as memory serves, I'm sure we won. But that was a great memory. But our Cape Fear trips was always a blast. A lot. I guess I lived on $20 a week pretty much during college, and you know to get to go down there. Of course, there were 10 or 12 of us in a room,
Yeah.
but we had a blast and a lot of great memories there, being on the beach and playing those matches against some of the best teams in the country.
Heck yeah. I couldn't imagine playing in that much snow. That would be so much fun.
Oh, it was. It was.
Where did you guys used to play at?
We played over at Freedom Hall. We had it was one of the practice kind of close to the swimming pool area there at Freedom Hall.
I don't know where that is. I'm not gonna lie, but
Science Hill. It's
okay.
the they have concerts and they had basketball games. That's where ETSU plays basketball now. But
Oh, okay.
we
Okay.
had we had it was a practice football field, I guess for the junior high or high school, and they kind of designated it to us for rugby.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're trying to get an Indian Trail right now, I think, but
Okay.
most Parks and Rec isn't letting you rent fields right now until March 1st, potentially. So
Gotcha.
we'll
Yeah,
see
it's
how
weird.
that goes.
Yeah.
What you said you played 8-man?
No, Mark Trent played 8-man.
Oh
When
yeah.
I started out, I was a prop, and then nobody wanted to play hooker except for this gentleman named Jim Buckley, who's a mediator for the AFL-CIO, and Jim traveled a lot. So they said, Sammy, you're gonna have to learn how to play hooker. So here I was, 6'1", 210, but I had props that were huge. Roy Mullins played on one side, Steve Moore on the other, and we had quite a big, huge front row.
Yeah.
And I played that for a few years, and then just anywhere they needed me. Wing forward. I don't think I ever had to play prop, hooker, wing forward. I don't think I ever played number 8 because Mark was always there and dominating. But towards the end of my career in Johnson City, they moved me to scrum half.
Oh yeah.
So I was kind of a bigger scrum half and would handle the ball pretty good, I guess, and had fun doing that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how'd that go?
It went
Transferring.
good, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't get fired, and so I must have done all right. That's
Heck
when
yeah.
Pete got smarter. He moved out. He kept moving out. He started out as scrum half or fly half, and then he'd kind of start. As he got older, he was like, "Okay, I'll play back. I'll be a fullback, or I'll be on the wing."
Yeah. Yeah. Way
No,
less contact.
oh yeah, no, he
Yeah.
was something else. He was. Oh, he made several tackles, but they were usually grabbing him by the collar, the jersey, and throwing him over his leg.
Mhm.
He just, he'd hold him up until one of the younger guys came along. But
Hey, sometimes that's all you gotta do.
oh yeah, he the pitch, our home pitch it was like tiered, and off one side it would go down to a soccer field, and
Mhm.
it was a pretty good hill. Whenever he would see us getting gassed, especially the forwards, he'd kick down on the other field and give us a little time off, get a little break. That was strategic.
Yeah, that's really smart.
I hadn't thought about that in a while, but that was.
That's pretty funny. That's when you know you're playing with somebody that's been playing for a long time.
that's,
You
that's
know,
right.
yeah, they start noticing that. It is, yeah. Uh, what so if you were talking to somebody and they are kind of like on the fence about playing, what would you tell them to try and convince them to play?
It's that's the cool thing about rugby. I mean, everybody thinks you need to be a badass former football player or whatever, but some of our better players were ex-basketball or soccer players, and just as long as you're athletic and you're tough, go give it a try. It truly changed my life. And some of the best friends that I'll have in my life, I met playing rugby. That first practice I went to, and it's a lot of people don't have that opportunity. And it's here it is going on 40 years. And these guys are still my best friends.
Yeah,
It's just something, you got to go try. You'll know pretty quick whether you're cut out for it or not. But the fellowship and the brotherhood, uh, and just getting to be doing something different competitively is what kept me hooked for a long time.
oh yeah, because like there's not a lot of like inexpensive contact sports that you can play as an adult.
Right.
And I think there's a football team around here popping up. You know, those football teams are popping up every so often now. But
Right.
like they're still expensive and you got to provide your own pads. So, yeah.
Yeah, all we needed were back then. That's before, I don't even know if they had any rugby cleats back then. Early on, of course, we didn't have access to them till Matt Godek, had their catalog or whatever. But
Oh yeah.
you just need a $25 pair of cleats and those goofy ass black short shorts made out of burlap.
Oh yeah.
Team supplied the jersey, so we got by pretty cheap.
Yeah. It's not too bad. Uh I don't have many other questions. Um, is there anything else that you'd like to add on, or?
No, please keep in touch and let me know when you guys are having a get together. I know you all had your banquet a few months back, and I don't know if many old boys got to come, but I'd love to be more involved. And I know our crew back, would like to stay more involved.
Oh
It's
yeah.
something that we're passionate about. It's something in my life, in my circle of friends, rugby's brought up several times a week. Remember this, remember that. Pete took us to Canada uh,
Oh, that's cool.
to play a couple matches, in the middle '80s, and just had a blast. There. That's something. We didn't get. I think I had $100 to go on, and it was and came back with money. So it's teams up there took care of us. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I think didn't Doc tell a boo story?
he did.
All right, I've got one. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, let's hear that.
That guy. You just didn't know what to think about him. The first couple of times you'd meet him, you'd be around him, but he grew on you. And we were playing pretty competitive, and Boo would always be there. He'd be the touch judge. He'd man up the second, the B side. He'd play in when we needed him on the A side, but he was always about getting his team better. Whether he's on the pitch or not. And we were getting ready to go to Canada for that. We called it a tour. We played 2 or 3 matches and party the rest
I'd
of it.
call that a tour.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. But we were practicing maybe a week before and scrimmaging, and I went into a ruck and turned, and Boo came. He was B-side. He came flying in and hit me right in the knees. It was bending and twisting, and so as I was going down, somebody got to rip the ball from me. I just punched him in the face. And he gets up, and his dentistry work. His teeth were kind of mangled a little bit. Well, tooth came out. And he's bleeding, and I was like, "Oh, Boo, man, I'm sorry. He said, "That's all right, Sammy." He goes, those Canadians are going to be rough. I'm just trying to get you rough. But he jumps in my truck and we go grab a beer, go to the pub afterwards. But he was,
awesome.
he was a great guy. I hate him. I didn't get to see him, the past few years of his life, but he was tried and true Johnson City rugby. And he wasn't, he was a tough player. He was always there. He'd be right in the thick of things. Whether he was maybe not the best athlete, but I don't think anybody had more heart than Boo did.
Yeah.
And but no, he was something else. There's just multiple stories you can tell about him, but he will be missed.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wish I could have been here a little bit sooner, but
You're still young.
yeah. So what would you say, like, happened with the old boys? Because you said you wanted to get back in touch and everything. Because whenever I moved here, I asked like how much contact we had with the old boys, and someone like just said there's not much. And
Yeah. I guess life happens. You get married and have children and careers and all that and other interests. I'm both my sons played football growing up and all through high school, and we were really involved with that and had a family farm, so we had a lot going on. That's not my excuse. There still should be a time uh, to come back and support local rugby, and I'll take it on myself, and John Bradley and Randy Ball and Pete. We'll get together and try to make more of an effort to come out and support.
hey, I'm more than happy to help, like reach out and let you guys know what's going on and stuff
Okay,
too.
please do.
Yeah, because I think old boys presence is very important, because like I moved around a lot and played for a lot of different clubs, and the most fun clubs and the most successful clubs all had a high presence with the old boys.
Right.
And like they also had high numbers at practice and everything too. Even though the old boys didn't really go to practice, we still had a lot of people. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I think that you guys got us here, and we just gotta try and do you guys right.
So
And you know, it's a it's a lot of work, but
it
to
is.
get us back where we need to be.
Right. You can count on several of us to help out
Oh yeah.
and be there. And once maybe people start coming out of the woodwork, you never know. But
Hey, I've had a lot of people reach out about the interviews and stuff, and I would just want to say thank you
sure.
for your time and reaching out, because especially after I was able to upload the doc interview, I had like several more people reach out, and more people are going to reach out because of your interview. So yeah, it's going to be really cool. And we would just want to know where we came from, because it's been 40 years this
Yeah,
year, and that's a big accomplishment.
it is a lot of pride, back then and now. I hope I'm sure it is. But there's a strong foundation of
Mhm.
John C. Rugby, and it all started with Pete.
Yeah.
And I got Basil Suffrage. I think he was one of the founding members as well. But I think he's long since passed, but
Mhm.
Pete's still kicking. He can
Yeah.
probably still play.
What would it take for you to play one more game?
Oh Lord, I've had busted up knees and 2 heart attacks, and I may look like I can still play, but I don't know. I might get out and
15
play a few
minutes.
minutes, and yeah, 15 minutes an old boys match.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Fullback maybe. Just don't kick it to me.
Or if we kick it to you, just
Kick
fine.
it off down the hill.
Yeah. Well, that's it for me. That's all I have. But thank you again for all your time and
Sure.
reaching out, and yeah, and I'll talk to you soon.